Hi everyone, welcome back to our Go From Scratch series. I'm Daniel and today we're going to be looking at structs. Structs in Go allow us to create our own custom data types. Let's take a look. As always, we're going to create a new file. Let's call this one structs.go. And we're going to get started with that starting boilerplate code that we're so familiar with right now. Let's create a struct. Now, I'm going to do this outside of the main function. We'll see why that is in a sec, but let's write it first. To define a struct, we use the keyword type, then the name of the struct, and then struct itself. This creates our struct object. So using a struct, we get to decide what the type is. And we're saying here, this is type person. Let's give it some properties as well. Name is a string and age is an integer. Now this is a typo here, so we don't use the comma after each property here. We just list them. So name, string, age, integer. Then we can use this as any other kind of variable. So let's use it now. Let's say Daniel : equals person, and let's give it some properties. Okay, we've created our object now. Let's use the format print line to see what it looks like. Go run structs.go. And here's our object that we've created. This is our person using the custom struct that we have here. So you can see already that structs are very powerful. They give us a lot of flexibility to decide what variables and what types we want to hold within this big object here. So we've used it this way by printing out the entire struct. We can also create a new one and assign these values after. Let's create this person here. We'll call them Alice and just use type person for now. This is going to initialize Alice as a person, but there aren't going to be any values yet. So like with anything in Go, if we initialize it without specifying it, these are going to be initialized as 0, whatever that means for its type. So string will be initialized as an empty string. Int will be initialized as a 0. Let's see that in action too. So print line Alice. And then following that, let's actually add these values in. So alice.name equals Alice and alice.age equals 40. I'll save that. And now let's run it again. Person type is not an expression. Yes. So one thing that we need to be careful of is we can't use the : equals here if we're not giving it all of the values. So we can set the variable up this way and say var Alice person, but we can't use the : equals just yet. So in this case we can if we're defining these variables within it, but if we're just setting up the variable and initializing it as 0, then we can't do it just yet. So be careful on that one. Let's run it. And here you can see we've got it initialized as 0. We have the empty string and the 0. We did actually set those variables, but then we never printed that out after. So let's do that now. Format print line Alice. So we'll print it the second time and we can see how it starts at 0 and then gets updated. So here we can see starting at 0 and then updated. So as you can see, we use the dot notation here to access properties of the struct. This is the case when we are assigning values to them. It's also the case when we want to print those values out and access them. So we can create a new print line function here, a print line call, and say Alice is, and then we'll use alice.age, and this will get the age property from Alice. Let's see that one. So there it is. Alice is 40, and you'll use that dot notation anytime you want to add or access properties. So let's do something a little bit interesting now and create a method for this object here. So Go is not an object-oriented language. It's not like C++ or Python or Java, where you have classes and you have methods on those classes. But we can create methods for these structs. So in order to do that, we create it kind of similar to a function. So we still use the func keyword, but instead we're going to pass in p person. So this is the variable here. So you can call it whatever you want. But then this is our struct object that we've created here, our type. So this is the person that we've created up here, the person struct. And then we give it the name of the function that we want. So let's call this one greet, and we'll just give it the parentheses, but pass nothing in there. And then we'll do a format print line and say, hello, my name is, and then we'll use p.name. So you can probably see how it's going to work already. We can call it from the main function here, and whatever person that this is for, it will grab the name property of that person and say, hello, my name is, and then print out the name. So we can do that a little bit differently to a function. So in a function, we would say greet and then pass in the person like this. But because this is a method for the struct, we can just call it directly from that variable that is of type, in this case, person. So let's use Alice as the example. So alice.Greet, and this will run this method for Alice. Let's see it in action. So I'll just clear the terminal and run that. And here we can say, hello, my name is Alice. So this again gives us a lot more flexibility. It gives us a lot more control, and it can be quite powerful to be able to add these methods to the structs. Now, the other thing we can do is modify these variables here. So if we want to modify a property of a struct, then we need to construct the method a little bit differently. So in this case, we'll need to pass in a pointer to person. So I realize we haven't done this yet, so this might be a little bit confusing. I think just run with it. You'll see it in action, and then in a following episode, we'll go through pointers in a lot more detail. So for now, I think all you need to know is that a pointer is going to be a way of getting to that variable in memory, rather than passing through a copy of the variable itself. So we're not just passing in the value of like, okay, this is the age of Alice. Instead, we're saying this is the location where that variable is stored. And then that'll mean when we update that variable, it's going to go there and actually update the variable. So we'll see it in action in a future video. But for now, we can have a quick introduction to it. So let's do something like have birthday. So when it's your birthday, you're a year older, right? So in that case, we can do p.age and plus plus. So that will increment the age of the person. Now, let's see that in action as well. We've got Alice is and then Alice age. Let's do Alice have birthday. And then we can print out the same thing again. Let's grab that there and paste it in here. Okay, so let's just quickly run through what we're expecting to happen. We should print Alice's age beforehand. We're still going to have this other stuff here like greet and so on. So that will be a bit messy in the terminal, but we will see the age of Alice first of all. Then we'll get the greet, and then we'll call the have birthday method on the Alice struct. And that is going to get the age variable, the age property, and increment that. So we should go from 40 to 41, and then we'll print that out again as a string. Let's see it in action. I'll just clear the terminal and run that. And here we go. It looks like it's working as we're expected, as expected. So Alice is 40. That would be this one here. So we create Alice, give her an age, print out her age, and then we run this have birthday method. It goes here, it grabs the pointer to the person, and we increment that age property there. And then we print out Alice with her new age. So as you can see, again, another thing that's very, very powerful with structs here. I realize it might be a bit confusing having the pointer stuff thrown in. We will have a full dedicated episode to that so that we can go through it in detail. But for now, you can see how structs are structured, how you can add methods to them, and how they can be really, really powerful in your Go programs. I hope you're enjoying this. Please subscribe if you are. Please leave a like, a comment, and see you in the next one.